I'm Doug Massi, and this is part 2 of our 3-part Final Expense Telesales training series. Now, if you've missed part 1, just click on the link that should have popped up above my head, or it will pop up soon, so just hang in there. And then that'll take you right to the part 1. Today, we're going to get into the presentation. We're going to talk about when and how to use proper voice inflection, and I'll even go over overcoming objections and how to effectively rebut. And if you'd like a copy of a Final Expense Telesales presentation, just hang around until the end of this video and I'm going to show you how to get this bad boy for yourself. And yes, now is the perfect time to give this video a thumbs up, and if you're new to our channel, we do recommend that you subscribe. Think about it this way, guys. We're putting out a lot of new insurance sales training videos and content every week, and you'll definitely want to be notified when that stuff comes out, or as it comes out. During your Final Expense Telesales presentation, there are 3 things that you absolutely must do. First, early in your presentation and within the first couple of minutes, you're going to want to convey that you are here to help the prospect find an amount of insurance that they can actually afford, and how it's important that we do this today. This is super key, guys, as well. It's not only going to get rid of the tire kicker types that are there to completely waste your time, but it also lets the prospects know that you aren't going to try to sell them something expensive or something that they can't afford. This is also how we get rid of the "oh, I can't afford it" excuse, right from the start when they give you that nonsense later. Second, you're going to need to build a lot of rapport before you even consider having the client write down the monthly premiums, and the rates. There are 2 different things that you're going to want to consider when you're building rapport. The first is, well, am I so busy with my schedule that I can afford to give the prices early, around the 15 to 20 minute mark? Or am I only speaking with a handful of people per day, and therefore I need to get the most out of my leads, which means that I will need to speak with people for a little extra time. I need to spend extra time with my prospects and extra time building that rapport, which, here's the thing, in turn, we'll end up with me giving out the pricing options, right around that 25 to 30 minute mark. If you're slammed with 30 set appointments for the day, then you're going to want to give out the prices around that 15 to 20 minute mark, a little early. And if you are just calling through your leads, you're going to want to spend more time with the prospects. That's when you're going to do the 25 to 30 minute version, which means really that's kind of important because now you're building a lot of rapport. If you're one of my agents and your day is booked solid with 30 preset calendar appointments, then you can absolutely give the shorter presentation. However, I highly recommend using the long tail presentation when you're, just working the leads or your calendar isn't very booked up. This is where most agents kind of go wrong. I hate to say it. Just trust me, guys, if you're not working a solid booked up schedule, then use the extra time that you have so you can build that extra rapport. And this could actually be a game changer for you. When it comes time to building rapport over the phone, remember, you got to figure out a way to get the client to trust you enough to not only pick an option, that they can afford, of course, very, very important, but to be willing to give you their personal information, like their social security number and even their banking checking information. What I recommend doing is this. After you've gotten all the client's medical information, and you've gotten them off the couch to go grab all their medication bottles, and they've read everything to you, and you've got all that stuff, and which means you've done the underwriting process. Back off and start to have a normal conversation with them. Ask them, if they're from, Texas or whatever state that you're calling them in, and share a story with them. Find out if their family lives there, and even ask about their last experience with a funeral. Just make sure every time you ask them a question that you have a relatable reply based on your experience. The trick is to tie it all up in a nice bow so that you and your client are having a very smooth conversation. It's actually a controlled conversation because you're controlling it while you're waiting to see if they qualify or not. Now, when you're confident that your prospect is more comfortable with you, then you can pop up and start with the voice inflection. Janet, I've got great news. Your plans just came back. Congratulations, you've been approved. And the third thing that you must do during your presentation is to eliminate all objections throughout the presentation up front. You gotta explain like the difference between term life and what we do, which is final expense whole life insurance. You're going to want to go over the additional benefits, and not all carriers have this, but if you're selling it, you want to go over these extra benefits: accidental death, accelerated death benefit, even kid riders, children riders, grandchildren riders. You'll also need to make sure that the client answers all of the health questions honestly, and let them know that if they don't tell you the truth about everything, then you're just going to end up giving them a fake quote and not the real price. Janet, I need you to answer the following questions honestly and without error. If you don't answer these health questions correctly, I'm going to end up giving you a fake quote based on the misinformation that you just gave me, as the insurance companies are going to do a background check. We got to get this right the first time, okay? When you're going over all the benefits that are in the plans that you're, trying to get them qualified for, make sure that the client knows that this is special. This is not like the normal stuff that they're seeing on TV or getting in the mail, but these are special plans that a lot of people can't even get, especially, when they have health issues or are a little bit older. You want to make sure that they feel like this is something very important and that they're really lucky to have found you. One of the best ways to increase your sales numbers and get your clients excited about this special final expense life insurance is to use proper voice inflection. The last thing that you want to do is sound monotone and boring. This is why most insurance agents need an experienced professional to mentor and train them. A good trainer should be showing you when and how to sound like you're conveying something super important, and when to sound relatable and understanding, and when to sound excited and full of energy. Remember, guys, you're selling yourself, not just an insurance product. If you can't get the prospect to understand and agree with you and relate with you, then you're probably not going to sell much insurance at all. Energy, excitement, and enthusiasm is of the utmost importance for final expense telesales. The best agents are usually the ones who are, really good at voice inflection and building rapport. Meanwhile, the agents that usually fail are most likely the ones that, and I should say most often the ones that are kind of boring and on the monotone side. Anybody who's had any type of sales training has heard, or been told, I should say, how a good salesperson's energy is completely contagious. Trust me, your energy or lack of energy can and will be like the difference between you helping your clients or not, which in turn means making some money in our business or making a lot of money in our industry. And for some, that lack of energy can easily be why you completely fail at selling final expense insurance over the phone. Real quick, let's talk about objections and rebuttals. When someone gives you an objection, you simply need to have a sensible answer. And when someone says something like, "Can you just give me the price already?" That is when you do the rebut, that's what I call it, and you simply move on. "I'm working on that right now, Jerry. Hang on a minute." Then you go back to your presentation, like right where you're at, and you keep going. So again, when the client gives you an actual objection like, "Wait a minute, I'm only interested in the free insurance," then you overcome the objection by making complete sense. "Jerry, you and I both know that nothing is for free. However, I got some good news. Today, I'm going to find something that you can actually afford, and that way when you do pass away, your daughter Samantha, that we spoke about earlier, doesn't think that her dad is a deadbeat, and now you're actually going to be that good father who's doing the right thing by your family." That's right, guys. Sometimes you got to call these people out, or they'll just run all over you and end up dying without the insurance and totally mess up their family. And that's your fault for not fighting for your clients too. That's how I see it. If you'd like a copy of the Final Expense Telesales presentation that I mentioned earlier, just email me at doug@ufesonline.com. For more information on selling final expense and life insurance products or Medicare insurance products as a completely independent insurance agent, just shoot me an email at that same address. Remember, When you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. Now, get out there or get on the phone and do something good for someone today. Happy hunting.